Alright guys, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my recap / review of Chelsea's 3-0 win at home to Rennes in the Champions League. Our third group stage game, we now have 7 points and I believe are top of the group on goal difference. But I'm going to be getting into all the key moments of the game, giving you guys my player ratings as I always do, plus going through my player of the season point scoring system as well to see which players earn themselves some points going ahead to see who will be player of the season at the end. Plenty of games to go though, but as always, if you guys do enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, it helps me out a lot, and also comment down below your player ratings and what you thought of the game in general, and also as always, do subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. But getting into the game, and we did see the return of the 4-3-3. We played it against Burnley and it worked very well. A bit of personnel change. We actually saw Jorginho take the deep lying role and Kante move out to the right, as Kai Havertz has unfortunately been diagnosed as positive for coronavirus. So hopefully a speedy recovery for him. He should be fine in about 2 weeks' time, hopefully. So he's going to miss the Sheffield game, but should be back for our game, which I believe is against Newcastle after the international break. Could be a good thing as well that he gets a rest and doesn't have to go out on international duty. But we did see Timo Werner on the left. Maybe would have preferred to see Callum Hudson-Odoi get another shot at the Champions League after scoring last week, but I mean, I don't know what Lampard's thinking is there, but we can't say Werner necessarily had a bad game. The back four was the one that we all want to see. Consistency, hopefully running through the defence now with Chilwell, Silva, Zuma and Reece James as well. Mason Mount was also in midfield. Ziyech and Tammy Abraham getting the starts as well, with Mendy against his old club. But kicking things off in the game, and it was pretty dominant in the Chelsea aspect, getting the ball up the pitch, Kante making a lot of tackles and interceptions if we did lose the ball, and not loads to talk about. We didn't necessarily test the keeper really well. We made some good attacks, but maybe in the final third we lacked a little bit of decision making, but I think that just comes with the players getting used to playing with each other. Also, I don't think Werner really works as a winger that much, but either way, the break did come through when Timo Werner did win a penalty. The ball was passed into him in the box. He knocked it past Dalbert, I believe. And yeah, clear foul, hits his foot, goes down. Apparently some of the commentators could hear the contact. And he goes down and he actually takes the penalty. He takes it over Jorginho now. A lot of people are talking about whether Werner should be taking penalties off Jorginho now. I'm sort of happy either way. Jorginho at the end of the day is an elite penalty taker. He's only missed, I believe, 3 in his career. But we have so many players that can take them. So, you know, either way, as long as they're going in, I really don't mind who is taking them. I guess it's good for a striker's confidence to take some more penalties as well. I wouldn't say that I'm as confident when Werner takes penalties, just because the goalie does sort of dive the right way, and in this penalty the goalie actually did get a hand on it, but I believe it was the power of the shot to get it into the bottom left corner, and Werner gets the first goal of the game. And not soon after that we do win another penalty, a very, very unfortunate handball. I believe Abraham shot, it hit Dalbert, it came off his shin, hit his arm, and it took a while for them to review it. The referee wasn't amazing this game either, by the way. But yeah, it came off his shin, hit his arm, which was like here, and it was given a penalty. Now, I was actually saying it out loud when watching this, like, oh, why are they taking so long reviewing this? It's clearly not a penalty, but it turned out it was, and that's mainly because the rules for UEFA are different than the Premier League rules. So I believe pretty much if ever it just hits your hand or arm, if your hand or arm is any sort of distance away from your body, then that's just going to be a penalty. And what that meant as well is that the player had to be booked, so Dalbert was also sent off, and that was pretty much game over. Rennes 2-0 down to 10 men, as Werner did power another penalty, this time into the top left corner. And that was his double, a double of penalties for the German international. But I felt kind of bad for Rennes. I didn't think they necessarily deserved to be down 10, and I didn't think we necessarily deserved to be up 2-0 either, to be honest, as our attacking play wasn't finishing off that well. We were defending solidly though, so that was at least a decent aspect. But yeah, unfortunate for them. I guess those are the rules, but maybe you should question how good the rules are, and maybe they need changing in the future, because I think if the ball had just hit his arm, like straight from Abraham's shot, maybe fair enough. But the fact that it came off his shin and bounced and hit his arm, I do think is very unfortunate. But also Rennes were calling for handballs all the time and calling for fouls. I think they were playing a little bit dirty, which I suppose if you're going away in the Champions League, maybe that makes sense. You can't hate them too much. Mason Mount as well during the game seemed to be getting on the nerves of Steven Nzonzi, which I thought was quite funny, definitely trying to wind him up. But it basically came to half time and we were 2-0 up, and basically the match was pretty much over there. When the second half started, we did go on a few attacks and we did deliver a really nice cross from Reece James, which Tammy Abraham nestled nicely into the goal. A really, really good cross, a really good round where Abraham lost his man. And I just think that Abraham really deserves a goal. He's been playing really well recently and finally did manage to get it. And finally, someone has scored from a Reece James cross. He delivers so many great crosses during all of his games that thank God someone actually got on the end of it for once. And that will definitely be good for Abraham's confidence. As I do think he'll probably start our next couple of games, especially with Pulisic out with his hamstring injury. Don't know when he'll be back. He could potentially be back on the bench for the Sheffield game, but I wouldn't bet money on it. But the rest of the game was pretty slow and stale. We did have maybe a few other opportunities. Ziyech did miss a good chance when the ball got crossed into the box and he just volleyed it over the bar. We also did see a cross come in as well to Timo Werner, but it was some really good defending by Rennes and they just knocked it out of his grasp. That could have been his hat-trick, but unfortunately the ball did just scupper away from him, which was a shame. We did see all 5 substitutes made. We did see Emerson, Kovacic and Giroud all come on first, I believe, for Abraham, Kante and Chilwell. Those players are obviously getting a rest. Chilwell has played loads of our games lately, so he definitely needed the rest as well. Rudiger came on as well for Thiago Silva a bit later on, and Hudson-Odoi came on for Ziyech. Would have liked to have seen Tomori maybe come on for Thiago Silva, but there seems to be something about Rudiger playing. I don't know if there's something in his contract or the conversation. I guess he is a German international, but would have been nice for Tomori to play. I do think that Tomori is probably now going to end up going on loan in January, because it doesn't seem like he is the next centre-back after Silva and Zuma, which you'd probably want him to be if he was going to stick around for this season. But also another chance to score when Hudson-Odoi puts in a very nice cross to Giroud, and I think the Rennes defender just put him off and his header did go wide. Would have been nice for him to score and get that Hudson-Odoi assist, but wasn't to be. Giroud maybe a bit rusty as he doesn't play that often anymore. Mendy didn't really have much to do. He made one standard save which Rennes then tapped in, but it was offside. And that was pretty much the game, guys. Now, to be fair, Rennes did look dangerous still with 10 men. They did get through our team. I don't know if we switched off because we were 3-0 up and it was 10 men. That was probably the reason, to be honest, guys. So I don't know if I'd worry about that too much. However, you would have maybe liked to have seen us push forward a bit more. But I guess with injuries and fitness, maybe Lampard's message was to just sort of play it safe and not go too crazy going forward. But that was my review of the match overall. Now getting into my player ratings, which I'm sure is what you guys have been waiting for. We're going to try and be a bit more generous with how I do these player ratings. I think I've been a bit harsh in the past. I think if you get a clean sheet as a defender or as a defensive midfielder, you should probably at least get a 7 out of 10. That's what I'm going to give Edouard Mendy, as he made one decent save. A save that you probably expect a goalkeeper to make. And now we all know obviously what Kepa was like, and maybe this save for Mendy seems a lot more grander because we know that Kepa maybe wouldn't have saved it, but in realism that is probably a standard save to make. Didn't really have much to do, caught some crosses, nice performance from him. It's just going to be a 7 out of 10 from me. Going to the back line, I'm going to give Ben Chilwell a 7 out of 10 as well. Didn't necessarily notice him too much, and I do think that maybe some of his deliveries into the box weren't necessarily great. I said this in the Burnley game as well. I just think that maybe the crossing is to get a little bit better. Maybe he's just playing a bit safe. I mean, to be fair, he did come back from injury, so I think we can expect a little bit of inconsistency in that regard. But I mean, defensively, he is doing great, putting in the tackles, putting in the work, so still a decent performance from him. I'm going to give Thiago Silva and Zuma both 7.5s out of 10. I think both a composed performance from both of them. They were both winning headers, they were both making blocks. Thiago Silva made a crucial block before, or was it a crucial tackle, I believe, just before he did get subbed off. They're both going to get 7.5 out of me. I thought they both had their good moments of the match. Reece James is going to get an 8 out of 10, as I think that he was very good today. Very good defensively, really good running down that right hand side, causing issues. The balls that he was delivering into the box were great. Got the assist, like I said, for Abraham's goal. Probably should have had another assist as well for that Werner goal, but really good defending, like I said, from Rennes. So Reece James is going to get an 8 out of 10. Now, maybe you could argue that some of these players should get higher, but I did think that because Rennes were down to 10 men for pretty much the entire half, maybe players didn't stand out as much. And like I said, everyone did drop off a little bit in that second half because we were comfortably winning the game. Going into the midfield, Jorginho is going to get a 7 out of 10. Standard from him. He did go for another one of those swerved passes to Abraham, but Abraham was offside. And yeah, just decent performance from Jorginho. Did maybe get done once by one of the Rennes players where he just sort of stuck a leg in and just got completely ran past. But that's what you're going to get with someone who's lacking the mobility like Jorginho. Mason Mount going to give a 7 out of 10. Decent work rate performance from him. His passing's good. I think definitely the number 8, as we all know, is his best position. I think we can expect to see him starting a lot more games now if we are sticking with the 4-3-3. Him and Havertz with Kante deep just seems really nice, and if we can maybe bring up a defensive midfielder to cover for Kante or buy Declan Rice, or you've got Ampadu, Gilmore, those players could really fit in very well. I do think Kovacic probably a bit of a victim of circumstance, but yeah, they're going to get 7s. Kante I'm going to give a 7.5 just because I noticed him that bit more, doing that extra work and competing, getting a lot of tackles in. Thought he attacked okay as well, nothing special, but I do think that he stuck out the most out of our midfielders. Going to the front three, going to give Hakim Ziyech a 7 out of 10. Didn't necessarily notice him loads in this game, but like I said, work rate was still good. Definitely everyone played their part in us keeping the clean sheet, and also attacking. He would have been obviously got higher if he buried that chance. I think it was a pretty bad miss. He could have taken the touch when the ball came to him in the box, but obviously he is rusty. But besides that, delivered, decent corners and that to Zuma, but not a stand-up performance from him, but he has been great the last 2 games, so I don't doubt his ability. Tammy Abraham is going to get a 7.5 out of 10. Did get the goal, wasn't maybe as noticeable, before that, did get a few shots off, but yeah, I think maybe he was lacking a little bit of confidence as he hadn't had a goal in a while. You could see him maybe getting frustrated when attacks didn't pan out. I will say that Abraham is sometimes a little bit annoying when you see things not happen and he sort of seems to sulk, and I'm not too sure, but then to be fair, it does also show passion and his determination to try and want a shot, so you can sort of love it and hate it at the same time. But he's going to get 7.5 out of 10 from me. Nice finish, and hopefully he can build off that in our future games. Lastly, Timo Werner, left until last because he got the 2 goals. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 now. He did score the 2 goals. They were both penalties. He did win one of the penalties as well, which was good, but just didn't notice him again. And I think that's just the sort of thing with Werner on the left wing. You don't really notice him. He makes good runs and makes good positions, but he's not necessarily creative. He looks for the pass. I don't doubt his ability or his work ethic, but it's just not as good, I think, him on the wing. And I do think that we should be seeing him predominantly up front, but I understand why he's on the wing. Would have maybe liked to have seen Callum, but maybe Lampard just viewed this as too important of a game and he wanted his big 50 million, or was it 40 million pound signing to go up in the front three. So yeah, he's going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. But those are my player ratings. Leave yours in the comments down below, guys. Going on to my player of the season point scoring system, I'm not going to give anyone a 3 out of 10 just because, like I said, I don't think anyone really stuck out on their own, and also Rennes were down to 10 men for most of the game and we did sort of drop off, so I don't think necessarily anyone really deserved the 3 points. But I'm going to give 2 players 2 points and the player 1 point. The 1 point was quite hard. As you can see, I ranked a few players 7.5 out of 10. Probably just going to give it to N'Golo Kante though, as he was the player that stuck out for me, winning a lot of balls in the midfield, making some good runs, and yeah, just sort of dominating that midfield, I thought, from the Frenchman. So I think he probably just edges it with the 1 point. You know, Abraham got the goal, Zuma and Silva were good. It's a debate, guys. Let me know if you maybe disagree, but I think Kante for me was the one that stuck out a little bit more. And the 2 points, or the 2 players that will be getting 2 points, are going to be Reece James and Werner. I actually kind of wanted to give Reece James the 3 points, but I just think that no one really stuck out. And Werner, I didn't think was that great, but he did score his 2 penalties. And, you know, you've got to put the ball in the back of the net for us to win games, and that's what he did. And also technically got the yellow cards for Dalbert, which led to him eventually getting sent off. So I think both of them will be getting 2 points for me, as you guys can see on the screen now how those points have all added up so far. Still a long way in the season to go. As you can see, Reece James and Werner actually the two who are situated at the top. I think both have been great. I think Reece James probably been our most consistent player maybe this season so far. I'm not too sure if you guys agree or disagree with that. You can let me know. Maybe Chilwell, I suppose you could say. But I think overall this was a very comfortable win. Very nice performance. Great to get another clean sheet. Mendy getting even more clean sheets in a row, guys. Absolutely crazy for him. How long will it last? I don't know. I think it's been 7 hours since we conceded the goal. Obviously, Sheffield United did have our number a bit last season, even though they're not doing that well this season. They haven't won a game yet. They need to win a game eventually, so that worries me a bit. And also, I believe they got 4 points against us last season, so hopefully we can improve on that as the weekend comes. Be sure to stay tuned for my match preview for that game coming later in the week. Also, be sure to check out other videos such as FPL videos as well, Fantasy Premier League that is, and my FIFA 21 West Ham career modes as well. Really enjoying these series, so if you guys want to join in on the fun, please be sure to subscribe and to leave a like on this video. But I do hope you guys did enjoy. Hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.